Welcome to Oradea, a city which is almost 1,000 years old. Right now we are in the main square of the city, which is part of the city downtown and the historic center of Oradea. And this is one of the main spots which I try to show to tourists who come to the city. We have two other very important places. One is the fortress, where the entire history of the city started. And there is another place which is really important for the city and which I always try to show to tourists. This is the building of the Roman Catholic bishop, the palace, and then the Roman Catholic cathedral and the so-called canonic row. So where we are now, there are some really nice and important historic buildings. These buildings were erected mainly at the beginning of the 20th century, but we also have some churches which were built at the end of the 18th century and then at the beginning of the 19th century. In fact, these churches show very well the diversity of the confessions in the city. We have a Roman Catholic Church, we have an Orthodox, Romanian Orthodox Church, and we have a Greek Catholic Church. But the most impressive buildings of the city downtown are those palaces which were erected at the beginning of the 20th century. Right behind me, you can see the building of the City Hall, which was built during 2 years at the beginning of the 20th century. Then we have here one of the most famous secessionist buildings of the country, the so-called Black Eagle Hotel, and not just hotel, the Black Eagle building as itself. And then let's not forget the statue of King Ferdinand, which dominates the square, which is called Unirii Square, by the way. And this statue was unveiled 2 years ago during the celebrations which were held in the city to celebrate 100 years of the big event, important event when Transylvania became the part of the Romanian kingdom. You can see behind me the Moon Church, which is undoubtedly one of the best known historic buildings of the city. Why is it called the Moon Church? You can see that sphere at the middle of the facade, which shows the movement of the moon. It was installed in 1793 and it has been working since then. When we have full moon, it is entirely yellow, and when there is no moon, it's entirely black. So for almost more than 200 years, this has been moving just as the moon moves on the sky. We are in the garden of the Roman Catholic Bishop's Palace, which is a very important place not only for the city but for the entire regions. We have the impressive palace behind me, one of the few buildings of the city in Baroque style, erected in the second half of the 18th century. Then another very important building here is the Roman Catholic Basilica or Cathedral, which is the largest Baroque church of the country. And then the third important building is the canonical row, 10 houses built for high clergy people, which is one of the symbols of the city. The abundance of historical buildings is one of the reasons why I would like to invite everybody to come here. In addition, more and more museums are opened in the city, so they can here enjoy architectural heritage. They can also enjoy these museums, and in addition, there are also, not far from Oradea, beautiful mountains with thousands of caves. And some of these caves have been set up for tourists, so they can be visited very easily. So there are several reasons why this place can and attracts tourists, because they can really satisfy all interests and needs.